Welcome to ReaperTV. In this video, the fourth part of our How to Build Your Home Recording Studio for Free, we're going to be taking a look at clean guitar sounds. We're going to take a look at effects, we're going to take a look at reverb, amplifiers, and we're going to take a look at cab sims. We're going to end up getting some really nice sounds that you can use in your more acoustic or mellow tracks where you don't require overdrive or distortion in the guitar tones. So let's take a look at all that right now. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at dealing with acoustic or clean guitar tones. We're going to be using amp sims and impulse responses like we have in the past. We're now going to start introducing some additional effects. We're going to take a look at chorus. We're going to take a look at reverb. If you haven't watched the first 3 videos in this series, I'd recommend going to take a look at those right now because they're going to give you a good idea of the different pieces of software that we're going to use and the whole process of what this video series is about. It's going to give you the links and everything we need for all the other software that we've used throughout this series. So to kick this video off, what we're going to do to start off with is we're going to listen to what we have already recorded. Now, as always, these are just DI instruments. They go straight into my audio interface, straight into my digital audio workstation, and they're recorded with no effects or nothing being applied at the time of recording. So what we've got is a completely clean signal. We know that we've got the levels all set up as we need them to be, and we've got a good starting point to start applying our effects to. So let's take a listen. So what we have is 2 takes of the same guitar piece, 1 pan hard left, 1 pan hard right. There's nothing applied to these at all. They are just literally DI signals. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to apply the amplifier model and we're going to take a look at applying the impulse responses. So we've got a good starting point to work with, and then we can start applying the different effects we want on top of that. So because we're going to be using the same effects throughout, I'm not going to put these independently on each channel because they're going to be using the same tones. Now, obviously, if you wanted to, you could apply different amplifier models to different impulse responses to each one of these channels. That's entirely up to you. But for the brevity of this video, I'm going to keep them all on the parent. So let's just click. Let's apply our effects. So I'm going to use, first of all, I'm going to use the Lapoo. And I'm going to use the 456 that I've used in the past. Now you can use any of these free amp sims. The hybrid will probably be quite nice if you want a more EL34 kind of tone, so a more typical British Marshall kind of sound. I'm going to go for the more American oriented sound, so the LE456 gives me an Engel style tone. So we're going to use that to start off with. And again, I'm just going to use my Mercurial cab loader. But again, you could use any of the ones that we've looked at in the past. So with those 2 now in place, let's have a little listen to the difference in sound and let's dial the kind of tone that I'm looking for out of this. Now I want a little bit of warmth in this. At the moment they sound a little bit brittle, so my aim is to get some warmth into the tone before we start applying any effects to it. So let's have a listen with this already set up with the default settings. I'm going to run it through channel B because that's the clean channel. I'm going to leave it on clean. I'm not going to deal with any crunch. I will take a look at adding in some focus bottom or bright to see how that affects the tone, and we want to put the quality up to high. So let's have a listen to start off with. Okay, that gets me pretty close to where I want to be. Now, obviously, I come in and tweak this a lot more. We'd apply EQ and everything like that to it. But like I say, for brevity, we're taking a look at what's on offer to us. And then you can go in and you can tweak to get the exact sound that you want. But that's kind of a good starting point. It's thickened the sound up quite nicely. Putting the mic using the SM57 with no input tuning and running that through to the cone. It's giving me a kind of nice tone that I kind of like for this example. So let's close these down. We've got the starting point. So there's our initial tone setup. We can now go in and start adding some extra effects into this. So the next thing I want to do is I want to add in some reverb, just to sort of widen the sound out a little. Now, there are lots of free reverb plugins available, and I've chosen a particularly simple one, which is the Tal Reverb 4 plugin. So I'm just going to drop that onto my channel. Make sure that's in the right position. Now I want this to go in before the speaker cab, so I'm just going to run that after the amp to simulate the reverb being on the amplifier as opposed to being the entire room with the microphone and the speaker cabs. But you can set this up exactly as you want. So I'm just going to dial a little delay into it. I'm going to increase the wet sound so we get a better mix. And you can adjust these to taste. But let's take a listen to that now before and after. Okay, I think that's added a little bit of extra dynamics to the sound. I spent a bit more time tweaking that, but it's a starting point, shall we say. So we've got a sound that's a lot better now. It's a lot fuller. We've warmed it up with the amplifier. What I would recommend, though, is if you're going to use a reverb plugin, put this onto its own dedicated bus and then route all the instruments you want to go through that reverb plugin into that bus, because it's going to make sure that the reverb that's applied to any of the instruments on your entire track are all going to be in time. They're not going to be fighting each other with different reverb lengths or different reverb times and effects, and you're going to start getting some really strange phasing issues and some problems. But for this example, I'm going to keep it on there because I only want to deal with the guitar tracks in this example. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to just give it a little bit more character. So I'm going to apply a chorus effect to it. So what we're going to do is just come down to the effects browser, and we're simply going to come down and take a look at the Blue Cat Audio. Now, the Blue Cat Audio is a suite of plugins, and it's a commercial version and it's a completely free version. I've only got the free version installed on this, and that gives me 4 different plugins. We've got the chorus, the frequency analyzer, the gain plugin, and the triple EQ. We just want to deal with the chorus. Now, you've got 2 options. You've got the chorus for mono and you've got the chorus in stereo. And again, it's entirely up to you how you would want to influence your track and how you want to introduce this into a track. Obviously, stereo is going to give a nicer effect because it's going to allow it to pan around the soundstage, but entirely up to you. So once again, let's just add that to my track. Position that where I want it. I want it to come after the reverb, after the amplifier, but before the cabinet. And with this, we've got control over all the different options available on there. We can adjust the shape. We can deal with the delay, the depth, the rate, the spread. Normal things you're going to expect to see on any kind of chorus effect. But you've also got a whole range of very well created factory presets. So I'm just going to choose the Clean Chorus 2. It's going to give me a standard kind of chorus. If I want to tweak it, I can do quite easily just by adjusting the preset. But let's take a listen to what that sounds like now, where that's been applied alongside the reverb and the amp sim and the impulse response. And we'll take a listen to what it sounds like with this enabled, and we'll also disable everything so you can hear the difference between the clean original track, the DI signal, and the affected track that we've got now with all the different plugins applied to it. So let's hit play. Okay, that's sounding pretty good. That's in the kind of ballpark where I want it. I see there's no EQ or anything on this now. This is just literally the effects applied direct to the DI signal. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come through to my effects panel. I'm going to disable everything on here just so you can listen to what the DI signals sound like. And I'll introduce all the different elements back in so you can see how much of a difference it's actually making to the overall tones that we've got available to us. So to start off with, let's just disable everything. So we've just got the DI signal. So all in all, I think we've got a pretty good starting point. We've got a nice chorus effect on there. The reverb adds that extra sense of dimension to it. And the fact that we're using a good quality amplifier and running it through impulse responses so we can control and get a more realistic sound from the amplifier, I think gives a good end result. So what I'm going to do is, finally, I'm going to switch this out of solo mode, and we're going to listen to the entire track. We've got the drums, the bass and everything. Again, remember, I haven't EQ'd this. This is just literally replacing what I originally had with these free alternatives so we can listen to what the track sounds like. So let's have a listen to that right now. So overall, for a very, very rough mix with no EQ applied to those guitars, I think it hangs together fairly well. So hopefully what you've seen is that you can get some great quality plugins for free again, and these work really, really well. Now, you're not limited to using these only with clean guitars. You can use the chorus with a distorted guitar, bass, anything you want, and the same goes for the reverb. But hopefully what it is showing you is the fact that you can get great tones, and you can get a great starting point for your mixes and for your tracks without having to spend a penny on plugins. Well, I hope you found this video useful. If you have, please hit the subscribe button to be kept up to date with all of the new content we add to the channel. If you have any comments, questions or feedback on this video or anything else we cover on the channel, please pop those in the comment section below. We read everything you post and we try to answer every question asked. Well, until next time, happy mixing.